All right, here's head coach Robert Talley heading into Saturday's week 3 against AIC. Coach, I mean, obviously with AIC, with kind of the latest history between the two teams, you really not a whole lot you need to say other than with the AIC here in week 3.
Well, they're a good team. I think that's first and foremost. And they beat us twice last year. Those were two losses inside the conference, and losing the second game really stopped us from having an opportunity to go to the playoffs. So we know each other well. I think they do a great job coaching the guys. They have a lot of really good football players, and we had a lot of missed opportunities last time we were down there. So we'll try to capitalize on those this time.
Coming off the week 1 loss to Bloomsburg, heading into again another. It seemed like 3 in a row here. Games you really don't need any added motivation for with Bentley. And obviously able to pull out that 24-17 win, first win there in 19 years. On and on and on. Talk about what that meant to be able to go there, not only just get the first win, but everything that goes with it being Bentley.
I think it's big. Anytime we can beat Bentley, we're pretty excited about it. It doesn't matter what year it is, and then to beat them down at their place, obviously something we haven't done in 19 years, so it's been a while. And at the same time, we were a little disappointed. We thought we didn't play as well. I think we got that sentiment from a lot of the players that we should have played a little bit better. But we're excited. It wasn't a pretty win, but in the end, it was a win, and pretty excited. And hopefully, we'll be able to carry the momentum forward. Knowing that to be able to be in a position to win in the fourth quarter versus a team like AIC, we're going to have to play a lot better than we did against Bentley.
Certainly this year, after the success you guys had last year, one thing you guys have to kind of deal with is the raised expectations. And when I'm getting into this is the defense here 2 weeks in a row, in my opinion, for the most part, met the expectation, and they've really been your strong unit out there.
Well, I think there's definitely a lot of pressure on really the whole team to perform and do better. And the thing we're seeing too from those 3 teams, we're getting their best effort so far. I thought Bentley, those kids really played hard. So it's no longer a situation where we're coming in and saying, okay, that's just Stonehill. Stonehill is just an underdog. It's like, okay, we have to prepare and make sure we're ready for Stonehill. And the defense has played well, and I think the defense has given us a lot of good opportunities. Probably the one place we're lacking on defense that we talked about as a team, we haven't got any turnovers, which is something that we really hung our hat on last year. So something I think the defense is really, that's the deal we focus on a lot in practice this week. We need to get turnovers. We need to give the ball to the offense and as good as field position as we possibly can. And on the flip side, offensively, we have to do a better job of taking care of the football. And then when we have the opportunities to score, we need to do that.
You kind of lead me into it. Kind of expand on the turnovers. Like you said, last year you were one of the top teams in the conference. Week 1, -5 in that, and I'm sure that was certainly something you talked about that week. Now you come in Bentley Friday night, first play, opening kickoff, get a turnover. At that point, you kind of feel like, all right, well, here we go. Now we can start to go.
We definitely wanted to start going in the right path, and we think we did with being able to get a turnover on the first play of the game versus Bentley. But it goes more than that. I think offensively is taking care of the football better, and we have. The ball's on the ground. The ball's been on the ground way too much, and too many interceptions that aren't, necessarily coverage interceptions, just really bad decisions or tip balls or wrong routes. So a lot of stuff really on our own part of it that we feel we can fix. And then on the defense side, as I said, we haven't gotten the turnovers that we're used to getting, and so I think that's a different thing. And that's why teams have been able to extend some drives. Where even when we played really well, but they've been able to extend some drives because we haven't been able to come up with those turnovers.
What do you guys do, Sunday through Friday, or depending on what day of the week the game is, to solve that? I mean, is there,
Well, I think defensively it winds up being a little bit easier because every practice, Coach Gardner, defense coordinator, sets a amount of turnovers they have to get during that practice. If they don't get it, they're running after practice. So it kind of sets a tone, and you see guys ripping at the ball, guys going up to make plays, and so it's a different mindset. So to me, that helps us offensively because it puts us on alert when the defense is is trying to get turnovers on every play. We know we have to take care of the ball, and we're yelling even at scout team guys that may fumble the football that they can't do that. So I just think it's that mentality throughout the team of everybody knowing we have to take care of the football and be aggressive at the same point, and really getting that across to everybody is what we stress every week.
You talked about meeting your opponent's best challenge every week, and I just going to go back to that. How do you prepare for that? Is it something you can't really prepare for until you kind of see it a couple of weeks in a row now?
The biggest thing, we compete like crazy in practice on both sides of the football. We do a lot of cross stuff, even though we're preparing for another team. We do a lot of good versus good, just to get the competitive piece of it. And this stuff, to me, we've been training for. We started back in the off season where we talked about, hey, teams aren't going to take us lightly anymore. We have to play and really being able to step up to them. We have a lot of really competitive kids that want to win, and so I don't think it's a matter of having to wait to deal with it during the game. We realize we're going to get that every game, and in our minds, that's the way it should be.
Defense on Friday night, I thought it really started with your front four, if not maybe even your front seven. Big part of that was Taylor Russell had a big game, 11 tackles and a couple of sacks. Just talk about how, as a senior, what he's done to grow and he's to become one of the top defensive linemen in the league.
Well, the biggest thing we always get on Taylor. We've been getting on him. We always usually when his weight goes up, his production goes down. So we've been getting on him since preseason started about, hey, this is where you need to get your weight down. You need to get your weight down, and he's been working at it. And I mean that's the best thing. And with Taylor, you can always count on him to be on time, be exactly where you want him to be, and now he's working his butt off too. So he's a big, strong, agile kid, especially for someone that big. He's a really good athlete. So this is kind of what we expect of Taylor, and the biggest thing is just now we want to just keep it going.
When did his progression really start to kind of make that, where it's not just learning the system and everything, but really starting to take in what his abilities and make those come through? When did that kind of start to come through?
I think the second part of last year. He really definitely started making some big plays. Was more of an impact. He couldn't be single blocked, and it's really as the season went, he got better last year. So our hope is you start out really strong. We're just going to hope he continues to get better as the season goes.
Offensive side, Colin Marcus went over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. We kind of saw, maybe the numbers weren't there against Bloomsburg, but he's just a tough kid to tackle, and it really kind of makes you guys go. Yeah,
he's really elusive. It's really hard to get a clean hit on him. He has great vision. He's just a really good football player. There's no surprise that he's one of the top running backs from a yardage standpoint after they come out of the state of Connecticut, and they've had some really good backs come out of there. So really productive. We need to get the ball in his hands, and the first couple of weeks, we showed some flashes of it. We weren't able to give him as many opportunities week 1. Week 2, we were able to give him more opportunities, and he took advantage.
Last week, you made the call with Mo Regan at quarterback. I thought very strong first half, maybe a second half. Maybe some plays you wanted to bring back, but what were your thoughts on him week 1, week 2?
The biggest thing, playing with a young quarterback. In some ways, he's gonna make some mistakes. The biggest thing you want him to do is learn from the mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes twice. He's a guy that's probably harder on himself than anybody. So he'll take those mistakes. He'll learn from them. He's had a great week of preparation this week. So the idea is we want to continue to see growth from him. Going forward, and as I said, the type of kid he is, he'll definitely do that.
A quiet first week for Nate Robitaille, but obviously it was a much bigger impact on Friday night, and then obviously his 22nd career touchdown catch. Just talk about him and his maybe taking week 1 and getting a little angry about it.
The biggest thing with Nate, he's a high effort kid, high energy kid. So that heat, that game 1 definitely took a toll on him. But it also got to the point where he wasn't. I wouldn't say he was embarrassed, but he wasn't proud of that his week 1 performance, and wanted to make sure he showed up on Friday versus Bentley. So, and he's a guy, once you get the ball in his hand, things can happen. So he can make people miss. He has great speed, great athletic ability. So there's no surprise he caught over 100 passes last year, and he's a playmaker. So we just got to keep on getting the ball in his hands.
I had a chance to sit down with your senior punter, Ryan Handy. We kind of talked Friday night. You don't get to talk about your punter too much, and maybe it's not always a good thing, but I thought he had a big role in the game, and dictating field position for you guys and set them in some bad spots. Gave him a long field. Talk about what he does. He's one of the top punters in the conference, and kind of that unorthodox. I always hear it as a kind of a negative connotation with the rugby style punt, but obviously very effective for you guys.
For us, when it comes to rugby, you need a kid that's an athlete. And Ryan Handy was a really good, receiver in high school. He's a real good athlete, has a really strong leg. If we probably just a straight drop back punter, he would still be one of the top people in the league. One thing that shouldn't go unnoticed is that last time we played at Bentley, he didn't play very well. He dropped 2 snaps. It was rainy out. So we really struggled from a special team standpoint. So I believe he had that in the back of his mind, that he wanted to make sure he had a great performance, and he did exactly that. And he was able to pin him inside the 20 twice, and then really just change field position and get great rolls, but kicking away from returners, and and a lot of that stuff is just his natural ability, his awareness of what's going on, and what he sees out there, and definitely taking advantage of the rugby punt.
Does that style give the ability to be able to get the ball down inside even the 10 really for him, and get it to stop, hang up a little bit?
Well, I think it's a skill just like anything else. You know what I mean? Where you have to be able to place the ball. We have to get great coverage, from our coverage unit, so we're able to down it. The first week he probably would have had a couple more down there, but we didn't do a great job of handling it. So now we're practicing more and more as far as getting out there, covering, make sure we're getting the football and keeping it out of the end zone.
Saturday AIC, we kind of started a little bit, but they're a little bit of a team on offensively, going through a transition with their top quarterback out with an injury. What are you seeing from the freshman who's come in 8 or 2 weeks?
Real good athlete. Probably the biggest thing with him, he's not as big as Arduino, the guy that's hurt, but real shifty, more of a make-you-miss guy, where Arduino could just run through arm tackles. And just, the lack of experience, but I think it's something that he'll develop and he'll get. And he has enough of a support and cast around him, which I think really makes a huge difference for AIC, where they don't just have to rely on the quarterback and what he does. They'll be able to lean on some other people they have on the team. And they have such a good defense, and they're such an aggressive defense that I'm sure they'll be relying on that to help him out with his growth.
Talk about the defense. The first week, they scratched one out against Assumption. Certainly having to deal with the injury to Arduino played a role in that. But last week they go to a Division I team, and they lose, but 20-7 is hanging in there. And obviously, I think the defense had a big role in that.
They had a huge role, and when you see it on film, they just give us some big plays. And they got worn down a little bit at the end. Just from the size standpoint, but they went toe-to-toe, for really most of the game, and if it wasn't for, probably 3 or 4 plays that they'd love to have back, that game could be a lot different. So, once again, to me, that defense really is what gets AIC going. When the defense is, causing turnovers and causing big plays, negative yardage plays, that's usually when their whole team gets going. They really feed off that.
So going in Saturday, for you guys, obviously going in there, what are going to be 3 keys for you guys to come away with a win?
We're going to have to find a way to run the ball, against them. And they're big, stout, but, we're going to have to find a way to run the ball. And once again, keep their offense off the field, and try to move the ball on their defense. And red zone. Last year we had, 3 opportunities where we came in with no points when we were down inside their red zone. So when we're in the red zone, we need to score touchdowns. Then turnovers. It's always, the more possessions you can get in offense, the better you're going to be. So really, to me, those are the key points we need to focus on.
Finishing off on Monday, learned the passing of Tom McDonald, Coach Mack. Talk about him, what he's meant to the program over the years, your 8 years here, and talk about what Coach Mack means to the football program.
Well, to me, it was huge. There was no better supporter of this program. No one that believed in probably in Stonehill College more than Coach Mack. He would do anything for the college. He would do anything for this football program. And it was over and over again. It was like, Coach, what can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I help you get your job done? So he's definitely a guy you're going to miss. You're going to miss having him around. He always had great insight into the game. and things that you wouldn't always think about, but things that he would definitely he wasn't shy about bringing to your attention. And it's amazing how many kids he attracted to Stonehill. How many kids he pushed there where, if he ever met a kid and a parent, he would make sure he'd have a positive conversation about Stonehill. And it's not just from a student athlete standpoint. There are a lot of kids that go to Stonehill that don't play sports that came here and were introduced to Stonehill because of Coach Mack. So to me, obviously a great loss. A great loss for the football program, a great loss for the college. He was good to me since day one. He was a great mentor. He was a great friend, and he'll surely be missed. And our players will miss him. He had such good relationships. And when I sent an email out about his passing, it was amazing the replies I got, and how many people wanted to know exactly when the arrangements were, so they could pay their respects, because he's earned everybody's respect along the way.
The team will have stickers on their helmets for the rest of the year. How will that just kind of touch the tip of the iceberg of how the team will kind of rally around?
Well, it's weird. And I told the team the other day, it's not like we're going to go out and say, okay, we're going to win this. We're going to win something for Coach Mack, because Coach Mack, that's the last thing he'd want. He'd want to say, hey, win it for Stonehill College, win it for each other. So it's just more of a focus about what he meant, and just a little sign of what he meant to the program, what he still means to us, and the effect he has. And I really don't believe Stonehill will be where it is today from a football program standpoint if Coach Mack hadn't been pushing, if he hadn't been helping, if he hadn't been assisting along the way. So it's just a little something. Just if he's looking down on us, he can know that we're thinking about him.
All right, Coach. Well, congratulations on the win on Friday, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.